Hello again. This is Alex Kapitanakis for Atlas Group. And the video I want to talk to you about today is something that has happened in Europe and that I myself experienced is capital controls. Something that I need everyone to begin to have in their vocabulary. Capital controls are coming to a neighborhood near you. And if you don't think it is, well, you'll be one of the crying multitudes that won't know what hit them, because it hit overnight in Greece when people didn't expect it. And let's talk about what it was in Greece that happened. During the now famous crisis of Greece, where the euro and the Greek debt became so overburdened that the Greek government couldn't pay the debt, the government imposed something called capital controls on everybody's bank account. And that was done at the behest of the European banking community. The European Union dictated to the Greek government that they had to impose these controls because essentially everybody in the Greek in the nation of Greece was responsible to the European Union for the debt of the Greek government. So they imposed restrictions on how much everybody could take out of the bank account. And they also did something called a haircut. The haircuts aren't known except in some parts of the world. A haircut is where you have, let's say, whatever money you have in an account, and I don't care what account it is. It could be a business account, it could be a personal account, savings account, checking account. Whatever accounts you had, you took a haircut, which means a percent of that money, 20, 30, even 40%, sometimes even 50% of your account just disappeared. It just went away. The government took it. And you never got it back. You didn't even get an IOU for it. It just disappeared. That is capital controls. And capital controls, in effect, told people that they could only take out a certain amount of money through their debit card every week and every month. So that meant that in some cases, people were only allowed to take, in Greece, they were only allowed to take 50 euros a week out of their own account. It didn't matter if they had €1 million in the account. They were allowed to take 50 out a week. And as if this weren't bad enough, there were people that had been traveling. One example of a couple who had gone to New York City. A well-to-do couple from Athens had gone to New York City and went to take out money so that they could pay for expenses in New York as tourists, and their card stopped working. They weren't allowed to take out any money. And right then and there, they became destitute in a foreign country. They had no friends, no contacts in New York, and they had no money. Even though they had the money in the account, they weren't allowed to take the money out. That is capital controls. Capital controls also dictated how you could buy. You couldn't take out money to buy anything other than what the government said was allowed. Now, in Greece, you could buy some land with your own money as long as you transferred it to the other buyer. So that became the only way that you could move assets, because cash could no longer be taken out. So people begin to learn how to move around the system. And in that case, in Greece, land became the only way to take things out of the system. And you may be surprised to know that in a lot of European countries, you're not allowed to buy gold and silver. It's just forbidden. You're allowed to sell it, but you're not allowed to buy it. So the only thing the Greeks had to move assets or move some wealth and protect some wealth was to take their money out of the bank in the form of purchasing a piece of land. So they were buying land just to keep the money outside of the greedy little hands of the bank and the European system. That's capital controls, and guess what? That's coming to a neighborhood near you. It might be called something differently. It might be more creatively referred, but it is coming because the banks and the creation of money, the creation of currency is happening so quickly and so irresponsibly that there will be no alternative but to begin to control. Because what we are doing in the United States compared to Greece is child's play. The Greek government is innocent compared to what the American government is doing with its money. The kind of debt that we have amassed is so large that it's beyond the comprehension of even some mathematicians to try and figure out how to calculate and how to conceive of trillions of dollars in debt. And just 1% of an interest rate hike makes that trillions of dollars in debt enormously unbearable. And that's coming too. And as soon as that happens, the restrictions will begin. Movement of cash will become outlawed. Your behavior with cash will become outlawed or controlled. Your debit card will be greatly controlled. And you're going to be pretty much in a cage. You're going to be with your own money, you're going to be at the mercy of a bank that didn't earn it and didn't sweat for it. And isn't even a government, but it's going to be doing things that governments can't legally do, but it can, because it's a commercial entity. So what are you stuck with? First, you have to realize that the money you put into a bank stops being yours. You don't own it anymore. You are a creditor to your bank. And if you don't believe me, start doing some research on it. You should do your own research and homework. You are not the owner of your bank account. You are giving the bank a loan. You are an IOU to the bank. The bank owes you the money, but guess what? It owes you the money after it pays off all its real creditors. You're an unsecured creditor to the bank. If you realize that this is the case, and you take the right action to stop being a victim, if you decide you're not going to be a victim to this, and you take action now, you can at least protect yourself from the majority of what will happen. You need to have an alternative to how you spend your money. You can't just spend your money on a debit card that's based on cash in your bank, because that's going away, or it will be controlled. So start looking for alternatives to how you can have exchanges. Start having emergency supplies. Start preparing for capital controls, because they're coming. And if you prepare for capital controls, the first thing that you need to start looking into is gold and silver. Gold, because it's been around for 5,000 years as a real exchange. Silver, because it's also been around for 5,000 years, but it's also one of the cheapest, it's the most undervalued asset in the world right now. It's your best buy. So that's an alternative, because if you've got $1,000 in the bank or $1,000 in gold or silver, you're much better off with $1,000 in gold and silver, because it's not going away. It's there and you can control it. You can take it into your own hands. Look into how you can use Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, the blockchain, to protect yourself against what's happening now, against what is going to be done with debit cards and capital controls. It's your money. You don't need someone's permission to spend your money. It's your money. Put it where it's your control. Put it where you have control of it. And that's what you need to think about. That's what you now have to plan for. Keep gold and silver in a safe jurisdiction. In our case, we're a vault in Panama, which is the most stable country in Central America. It's a private place to keep your money safe, keep your valuables safe. Look into where you can store your money, your wealth outside of a jurisdictional area that you are living in, because you have to have alternatives. You have to think about an emergency where things change, where you are not, it's not always the same. It's not always going to be safe in one place. Always have a contingency plan. Keeping your wealth in a place that's safe and outside of the jurisdiction that you live in is a damn good idea. Have a backup plan for your currency and store it, and start looking into how you can get into things like cryptocurrency. We can also help you with that because we have a company here and it's called Sanctorum, and we deal with cryptocurrency at Sanctorum. We can give you help, and we can help you network, because networking is part of the solution for the future. Give us a call and let us be part of your solution. Let us help. Thank you.